Hello and welcome to our lesson 2 for today's lesson. Today you will be learning how to use the verb être to introduce yourself and others. Okay, so you can get your notebook and your pen beside you as you watch this tutorial. So let's learn how to use the verb être, which is actually the verb to be in English. So être is actually the verb to be. Okay, so here we have to be. So in this French lesson today, you will be learning how to use être to introduce yourself and others. So we will start with the conjugation of the verb être, which is to be. Here we have je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, on est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. Good. So take note that to, which is you are, to, which is you, is used with friends, family, or children. So you can use to address your friends, your family members, or your children. And vous, which also means you, but it is formal, it is used formally or when speaking to more than one person. Please take note of these two tips, okay? So when you're addressing an adult, you will say vous êtes, you are. But if it is a friend, a family member, or a child, you can use tu es, which is also you are. Next, for number 2, we have introducing yourself and others. So you can say, je suis étudiant. Je suis étudiant. I am a student. If you are a female, just add an E to étudiant and you have étudiante. So you can say, je suis étudiante. For a female, je suis étudiante. But for a male, the T is silent. Je suis étudiant. Number 2, je suis marié. Nous sommes amis. Il est professeur. Elle est étudiante. You can see the difference here. So this is female. She is a student. You can see we added the E at the end of the T. This means that when there is no E at the end of a noun or a word, the last letter remains mostly silent in French. Here we have this short conversation. I will be the boy, you be the girl. So I will read for the boy and you read for the girl. And then later we swap. Let's begin. Bonjour, je suis Paul. Et toi? Perfect. Now let's change role. You will be the boy and I will be the girl. Let's begin. Salut, je suis Clara. Take note that je suis means I am. And here, et toi means and you. Okay, this et toi is informal. You can use toi for family members, friends, or children. But for an adult or in a formal environment, you say et vous. Okay, good. Number 3, we have negation. How to say not. Okay, the language structure is to place ne before the verb, and after the verb, you put pas. But take note that when the verb starts with a vowel, we do not use ne and e. We use an apostrophe for proper blending and pronunciation. We put the n apostrophe before the verb, and after the verb, we put pas as indicated above. Good. Now, let's take some examples. For example, I have number 1. For number 1, I have je suis Paula. I am Paula. Now, where is the verb? The verb here is suis. I'm going to underline the verb. The language structure says for forming the negation, you put the ne or the n apostrophe before the verb. So we're going to ask ourselves, is this verb starting with a vowel or a consonant? I can see the verb starting with a consonant S. At this point, I will use ne. So here I'm going to put ne, and after the verb, I will put pas. So here I have je ne suis pas Paula, which means I am not Paula. Second example, I have il est professeur de maths. Okay, he is a math teacher, or I can say il est professeur d'espagnol. He is a Spanish teacher. Okay, where is the verb? The verb here is, and I'm going to underline this verb. Does the verb start with a vowel or a consonant? You can see that it starts with a vowel E. For that reason, we will not be using ne, which is an E. Instead, we will use the N apostrophe for proper blending and pronunciation purpose. So we put N apostrophe here. And after the verb, we will put pas. So here we have il n'est pas professeur d'espagnol. He is not a Spanish teacher. So when the verb starts with a vowel, use an apostrophe before the verb, and after the verb, put pas. But if the verb starts with a consonant, please put ne before the verb, and after the verb, put pas. Let's take some examples here below. Je ne suis pas fatigué. Elle n'est pas ici. Nous ne sommes pas en retard. En retard here means late. Please take notes. And you can see the verbs are, you can see the some here, which is the verb starting with a consonant, we have to use ne. E here is a vowel, starting with a vowel, we have to use an apostrophe. So if the verb starts with a vowel, e, ne becomes an apostrophe. Good, so asking questions, okay? Now, here I have the intonation, raising your intonation, okay? When you raise your intonation at the end of a sentence, you're asking a question. For example, I have he is, okay? So if I say il est Paul, he is Paul, right? Now, this is il est Paul. You can see it, I'm not raising my intonation, right? I'm not raising my voice instead. But if I say il est Paul, that's a question. Il est Paul, that's a question, okay? But if I say il est Paul, that's a flat affirmative expression. But if I change the intonation, il est Paul, that's a question. Here we have tu es professeur, okay? But if I want to make it a sentence only, I will say tu es professeur. You see, tu es professeur, that's a question. Please take note. So your intonation changing can mean something else. Using est-ce que means you are trying to confirm a statement. So, and here the language structure is est-ce que must start first, and then you put the conjugation. Let's take an example. Here, I'm going to put est-ce que, and I'm going to come here and put je suis, which is I am, and then I'm going to add something else to complete the statement. So here, est-ce que je suis, it means am I, okay? Am I? Est-ce que, starting with a question, is simply helping to confirm something. Now, est-ce que je suis? Am I what? Est-ce que je suis professeur d'anglais? So this is, am I am I an English teacher? Est-ce que je suis professeur? Okay, so est-ce que is used to confirm an information. Look at this example here. Est-ce que tu es étudiant? Est-ce qu'elle est là? You see? Now, something happened here. So for proper blending and pronunciation, we have to remove the E here for this question. We remove the E here and replace it with an apostrophe for proper blending and pronunciation purpose. This is applicable for il, il, and for L, E, or for the plural of il and L, okay? Now, for inversion, inversion is also used to confirm an information, okay? Now, what do I mean for inversion? Version of je suis, which is I am, will become suis-je. Please take note, suis-je, okay? The inversion of tu es, will be es-tu, okay? So this is what we call inversion, swapping the pronoun to the side of the verb and the verb to the side of the pronoun. Very easy. Now, here we have tu es, which becomes es-tu. Es-tu professeur? Now, est-elle française? Okay. Now, if it was to be a male, it would be est-il, est-il français? You'll have to remove the E here for the male. Okay. We will come to that in subsequent lessons. Here for D, we have using n'est-ce pas. N'est-ce pas is also used to confirm an information. But this time, unlike est-ce that starts with a question, n'est-ce pas comes at the end. Let me give you an example here. I have vous êtes Monsieur Alejandro. Vous êtes Monsieur Alejandro, n'est-ce pas? This simply means you are Mr. Alejandro, isn't it? Or you are Mr. Alejandro, right? So, n'est-ce pas plays a lot of role. It could be isn't it, or it could be aren't you, or it could be aren't we. It depends on the type of information that the statement started with, or whatever you are trying to confirm. Okay, good. Now, here we have two examples. Let's read. Tu es étudiant, n'est-ce pas? Il est professeur, n'est-ce pas? So your intonation must rise when you're saying the n'est-ce pas. Okay, good. And next here we have the question words, some question words that you can use for the verb être that we conjugated here at the beginning. Now let's look at these question words. Here we have who. Who is qui, okay? Qui here means who. So qui est? The whole of this is est. So qui est, which means who is it? So when someone is knocking at the door, you can say qui est, okay? Who is it? What is que? But here we omitted the E for proper blending. So we have qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is it? Okay, where is où? Où means where, with a sign on the U. When there is no sign on the U, it means or. Où es-tu? Where are you? Quand here means when. Quand est-il là? Quand est-il là? When is he here? For why means pourquoi. Pourquoi? Pourquoi es-tu triste? Why are you sad? How is comment and not comment. Comment. Comment es-tu? How are you? So you can see how these question words can be used to ask questions. If you look at them carefully, you will see that most of the conjugations were inverted. Here, you can see où es-tu? Es-tu, tu es was inverted to es-tu. Il est was inverted to est-il. Tu es was also inverted here. Just the same thing happens here as well. So when you're using question words, most times you need to invert them in order to ask appropriate questions. I have a practice exercise for you. You can pause the video and practice this with the conjugation above. So you need the conjugation at the beginning of this tutorial to do this assignment. You can pause the video and practice this. The same thing goes with the B here. You can practice it as well. The same thing goes with the C here. You can pause the video and practice this one. And the dialogue practice here, you can do the same. And for summary, you can pause and take notes. Être is the verb to be. It is used to introduce oneself and one's profession and nationality. We can use the ne pas for negation, the intonation, est-ce que. We use the intonation as well, the est-ce que to confirm, the inversion, and the n'est-ce pas to ask questions or to confirm an information. You can also practice with qui, quoi, où, quand, pourquoi, comment for more complete questions. So these are not limited. You can practice at your own time in order to gain mastery. But please take note, you need to first of all practice how to say this conjugation and to understand the whole of the tutorial and to practice at your own convenience. This is how far we'll go with this tutorial and see you in the next one. Merci. À plus.